Okay, so I'm not sure which video I'm going to use that I've taken so far. What I started doing with the shovel is running into this type of a soil. No, I started with this black soil, right? Decomposing tree leaves, let's say, or whatever. Then I ended up going into a lot of this, as they described, sandy, loamy soil. And that's as far as a shovel would take me, about 5.5, 6 feet down. Then I started trying other things like airlifting, which did work well, except for the fact I needed to fill that with water, and there's no water near here, which meant I had to truck it out here with the golf cart and a long hose. I filled up the hole, and then the sandy soil drains water well, so what do you think happened? It all disappeared. So I started using this black pipe with that trenching utensil at the end. That sucked. And I was like, well, I got to come back with bentonite mud. And I have. But before I employed that, we got here this evening. I put on this auger bit, which is for ice fishing. But I put it on here so I could use a tool, also meant for ice fishing, which is a planetary gear box. So for every 3 or 4 turns, what's the gear ratio? About 3.5 turns of my drill, it turns the auger bit once. And so I started setting up for, ideally it was going to be a metal pipe for the auger, and I wasn't very confident that this was going to not just break. So then I used this black 1.25" polyethylene pipe and spun it manually, and I started pulling up, you know, augers full of sand. Cool. Sand got more wet. You know, I don't know where it ended up being set, around here. It's probably a more wet sand, but pretty much the same, until I ended up getting like what appeared to be like if there was cat litter in a litter box, where they get these, you know, muck things, little like nodules of that. I mean, a little bit deeper, and it was straight up this bluish clay. And that is, you know, right here is where I ended up hitting water for the first time. Pretty cool feeling. And then I took, you know, little soil samples as I went, and as I keep going deeper, the clay changes color to a darker brown, and it's more gray, and now it seems like it's sand. More sand. Well, it might be a red color in there too, iron, than anything else. But definitely a water-bearing layer. So what I'm pulling up is this messy, gravelly slop. So I bet I've drilled through or into this aquifer. I'm not sure about through it. But the problem now I'm facing is this auger. The sand will slide off of it as I pull it up the hole. So I think I may have reached the reasonable end to this auger. And I've filled up that 5-gallon pail once, and I was going to try to drain the muck soil I was pulling out. You know, you can see how this holds water under the ground. It doesn't smell at all. Now, I don't usually eat dirt or anything like that, but it doesn't smell, which I think is a good sign for clean water and messy hands. Oh, why did I do that? Anyway, this is intending to maybe filter it out through the screen or mesh. Who knows? But this is what I was pulling out. You can see that there's some sand content to it, but mostly it's clay. So the deeper I go, the wetter it is. I mean, when I pull this auger out, it ends up sort of plopping on the ground here. Cold water, siltier sand type feeling stuff. And it's really torquing harder than it has been on this black 1.25" polyethylene pipe bolted onto this auger, which is amazing if this has done anything at all. So I feel like if I keep going at this rate, I won't get very far. And my depth, just to document that, last time I checked it was like 7 and some feet. We'll see. We'll see that or the GoPro down the well. So here we go. I don't want this to be bent when it measures. So now I'm in the water. There we go. There. So that's the bottom. So this is, you know, this is the ground. So that's, I'm getting deeper than I thought. So that's 8 feet, and it is slowing down. So, you know, maybe 8 feet, 3 inches. And when I pull it back up, let's see where the mud mark is. So 8 feet, 3 inches, and in at least probably 16 inches of water. Now, I want to go deeper, I suspect, especially with this being what I pull out, this muddy slurry. But at this point in time, the auger works less efficiently, I think. And it feels like the clay is becoming more sandy. It's just got water sitting in it. Beautiful, that's what I want. Now, when I pull this thing up, it's a little crooked. It knocks on the edge of the borehole, made of sand, primarily. And so that method, which has served me well getting down this deep, is coming to its functional end, I believe. I'm gonna go deep on this. Now that my hands are covered in clay and muck, I can't even torque this. So that's the end of the day. My hands can't grip the pipe to spin it. And you see how that sort of just flows down the bit, which makes it harder to utilize it. So I think I will plunk something down here, plug the top of this hole up, and call that a day until tomorrow morning. I have sodium bentonite slurry, and I'll get a well liner or some sort of temporary liner to put down this hole. Ugh, I'm covered in mud. To put down that hole so it shouldn't want to collapse on us. What is that? Dinosaur bone? No, I don't know. You can see here the edge of this hole, when I had it filled with water that deep, it started just collapsing down. I want to get this going as efficiently and quickly as I can. I know you don't want to have an exposed aquifer like this, so I'll do the best I can here, seal this up, and come back here with well casing, get the well casing as low as I can on here. I am curious what that is. Rock? I don't know. But that's what I'm finding in the mud. Giant mess. And I'm telling everyone in there about it. They're not as excited as I am. But sort of cool to be able to